दोस्तों इस क्लास में आपको डिक्टेशन दूंगा ग्रेड डी का मैटर जो प्रीवियस ईयर में आया था। आप अच्छे से लिखिएगा। 80 WPM स्पीड होगी इस क्लास में। आपको डिक्टेशन प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूं, बी रेडी फॉर इट। मिस्टर डिप्टी स्पीकर सर, may I with your permission intervene and say a few words in regard to the various matters that have been brought up before the House by my honorable friends. My colleague, the Finance Minister, who is in charge of this particular budget, will no doubt deal with the specific matters that have been raised here in the course of this debate. I need not remind the House of the fact that although this budget is the sole responsibility of the Finance Minister, it is also the responsibility of the government as a whole, and as Prime Minister, I am entirely responsible for it as well as any other member of the government. This budget was placed before the House after very careful consideration by the government, and the Finance Minister is wholly committed to it. That does not, of course, mean that we are not willing to consider any new proposals. We would certainly be willing to consider the same so long as the basic structure of the budget is least affected. Sir, the previous speaker drew the attention of the House to various difficulties in the way of a debate here and in the way of consideration of the budget proposals. He pointed out how little could be done in the short time placed at our disposal. I am in complete agreement with him in this matter. If there are any viable proposals which would enable us to give more and more time for full consideration of these problems, either formally or informally, I am quite sure that the Finance Minister will immediately consider them, as it would be his pleasure and proud privilege to do so. The real difficulty, however, is more basic, and it is this: the kind of problem which the government have to face now is so vast and tricky that it is impossible for the Parliament of any democratic country to give enough time for its consideration. It is just a question of time. This is not a new difficulty in the sense that most members feel. I remember that quite some time ago, long debates have taken place in the United Kingdom on this subject. After so long a debate, they found that they could not get along with what is really the 19th century procedure in this 20th century of continuous crisis, social problems and national and international problems. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Sir, I informed the House about the importance of labor. There is a major role it plays in the development of a country. Whenever an industry is set up, it brings about a change in the society. It also brings about awareness in the people about the modern world. Today's world cannot progress without science and technology. We must make people aware of this and see how the standard of education of the children of workers can be raised to enable them to move forward and take up other jobs. I am not trying to degrade any kind of labor. It is not necessary that one who is born in a particular work environment should do only those work. All means should be open to him and we should help him with whatever skill or knowledge is needed to enable him to go forward. This has always been our policy. Sir, there are many labor unions in our country. Rich and developed countries can afford conflict amongst unions. But in a poor country like ours, differences arise because of self-interest. Any long strikes and lockouts harm the people as well as the nation. While society and the country as a whole suffer, the worst sufferers of strikes are the workers themselves. We must therefore find ways to solve the differences amongst the leading unions. Sometimes there are demands which cannot be met because of lack of funds. Sometimes more money is given to workers in an industry without realizing that it may have a chain reaction on other places and may cause financial burden on other units. Nothing can be isolated. All problems are interlinked. If this is understood, it will help everyone and there will be greater production. All of us, whether farmers or workers, should regard ourselves as Indians first and should try to create an atmosphere in the country that is good to greater economic development. Such an environment can be created only when there is peace, when divisive forces are given no importance, and we all work unitedly to make our country strong and take it forward along the path of progress and socialism. Sir, the honorable members are aware that there are disturbances in various parts of our country. I do not want to go into details about that. I may say that the government has been trying to settle their demands. Stop. दोस्तों इसी के साथ ये डिक्टेशन फिनिश होती है। बहुत ही ज़्यादा इजी डिक्टेशन है, बहुत ही ज़्यादा, और मुझे लगता है कि इस डिक्टेशन में आपकी मिस्टेक्स बिल्कुल कम आनी चाहिए। और ये मैटर आपका टाइप लगभग 20 मिनट के अंदर होना चाहिए अगर आपकी टाइपिंग स्पीड अच्छी है तो। और टाइपिंग स्पीड उतनी ज़्यादा अच्छी नहीं है तो फिर भी मैं कहूँगा कि 30 मिनट्स के अंदर आपको इसे टाइप करना है। मिस्टेक्स 3% का जो टारगेट है वही रहेगा। हालांकि ये डिक्टेशन काफ़ी इजी है, बट फिर भी 3% के नीचे अगर आप रहते हैं तो बहुत ही अच्छी बात है। इस डिक्टेशन में तो 1% भी मिस्टेक्स नहीं आनी चाहिए, क्योंकि कोई ऐसा वर्ड नहीं है जो आपको इसमें प्रॉब्लम दे सके। ठीक है, तो आप कमेंट सेक्शन में बताइएगा कितनी मिस्टेक्स आई, कितने टाइम में कंप्लीट किया, और क्या कोई ऐसा वर्ड था जिसने आपको परेशान किया। तो आपसे मुलाकात करता हूँ अगली क्लास में अगली ट्रांसक्रिप्शन के साथ। तब तक के लिए बाय बाय, टेक केयर।